Hello, and welcome to the Job Readiness Seminar brought to you by the Ohio Means Jobs Geauga County Career Center. You will notice throughout this seminar that we will be covering a multitude of topics that we have also covered individually in other PowerPoint presentations that you can find on our website. Let's get started. The Ohio Means Jobs Geauga County Career Center is located within the new Geauga County Administration Building, located at 12611 Ravenwood Drive, Chardon, Ohio 44024. My name is Lisa Sprouse, and I will be your presenter today. I am a part-time Geauga County Job and Family Services Career Center instructor employed through Auburn Career Center. I also have 25 plus years of experience in employment screening and recruiting. We will begin with what is a resume and why. This is going to be your primary marketing tool. It'll define who you are and what you've accomplished. It will explain why an employer would want to hire you. Your resume should accurately represent who you are. Did you know that employers can scan each resume for approximately 6 seconds and decide if they want to continue reading or just discard it? So it's very important to make sure all of your information is going to be right there front and center for that employer to read. We will be reviewing 3 types of resumes: chronological, functional, and combination. The chronological resume is the most common. It'll list work and personal history in reverse chronological order, and it works best if you have a stable work history or long history of work experience in the same field and do plan to stay in that field. The functional resume highlights your skills and shows your strengths. This is a good format to use if you're changing careers or for those new in the market. Also, it would be good if you have little work experience or gaps in employment. The last type of resume is a combination or hybrid. This actually combines both the chronological and functional resume formats. It's contemporary, easy to read, and highlights important skills. There are other types of resumes, such as a CV, which is used typically for people with a medical or education background, military resumes, online resumes, and video resumes. Now we'll focus on the basic components of your resume. Your resume heading. Your name, your address. We typically suggest not your street address, just your city and state. Your telephone number. Do only one, whether it's cell or your home phone, but never put multiple phone numbers on. Your email address. Make sure it is a professional looking email, not anything like a personalized. And make sure it does not have any numbers. And then your LinkedIn URL. This is going to be considered your brand. Your career summary now is going to be basically what you can do for the company, focus on your experience, credentials, personal values, and work ethic. Certainly include some soft skills in your statements. And then finally, your skills. These are going to be transferable skills. Hard skills, which are examples of your special skills and talents. Continuing on with the basic components of a resume, now we're going to look at your work experience. That's a history of previous employers, location, dates of employment, your job titles, your job duties. Typically, you don't want to go any further back than about 10 or 15 years. Now, your education. We always suggest don't list dates unless it's recent. You want to list your degrees, certification, any education and training that you may have. And then finally, your certifications, computer skills, professional organizations. These need to relate to the industry or the position that you are going to be going for, followed up by any volunteer work where it's going to be relevant. Let's talk about now what your resume do's are. You want to customize your resume to each job in which you're applying. You want to name your file to include your name, the job title, and the company name. This way, in case you do have to upload it to a ATS system or into a company's website. You want to include keywords, action verbs, and bullet points. You want to use quantities, amounts, and dollar values rather than percentages, if at all possible. This is going to enhance your accomplishments. Be truthful. Although a resume is not a legal document, you do want it to be able to match your application when you do fill that out, which is going to be a legal document that you'll be signing. And proofread. proofread is a must. Your resume needs to be free from any errors. You can have somebody else proofread it for you. Certainly this is going to be the most important. If you've left your most recent employer, do not use present on resume. Make sure that it mimics what your current situation is. Now for the don'ts. Again, don't include more than 15 years of work history unless it's relevant to the job that you're applying for or if you are with one employer. Don't include your age, gender, hobbies, marital status. Again, as I said initially, only one phone number. Don't use any inappropriate email addresses. Do not use I, me, or my. And don't include references or even a photo on your resume. There are times that you're going to need to overcome employment liabilities. Things like gaps in employment. Use years, not months. You can list things like community service, volunteering, maybe you were a caregiver, maybe you were looking at launching your own business. You can put this in there as to why maybe you were not employed during a certain time frame. Maybe lack of a degree. You don't have a degree, you did go for a certain amount of time, maybe something changed, but you want to go ahead and list the credits that you earned and the concentration of studies. There are going to be age concerns. You want to focus on results. This is why we don't go back more than 15 years unless it's relevant to the position. You might need to consider removing the dates, and leaving the text just to be able to show your experience in that area. Formatting and designing your resume is important. Margins preferably are going to be 1 inch, no less than 1/2 of an inch. Using a larger font size, 16 point or greater for your heading. Your remaining fonts should be at least 11 point for readability. There are certainly going to be exceptions. Again, as we've discussed, your heading should include only one phone number, an appropriate email address, and your LinkedIn URL. And resumes should not exceed more than 2 pages. Résumé grammar. This is where you're going to want to speak in the present tense about your present position if still employed, and in past tense for all previous positions. You're going to want to use dollar signs and percent signs rather than dollars and percent in words. You need to spell out single-digit numbers, 1, 2, 3, or use numeric values, 10, 11, 12, for 2-digit numbers. Ampersands may only be used in headings, tables, titles, and certifications. You're going to be applying to multiple different positions, although it's going to most likely be in the same industry or the same career field that you typically are in. You want to make a master resume. Okay, this is a list of every employment or volunteer experience and skill that you ever had. You want to keep lots of keywords in there, industry specific, things that are listed in the job posting. You don't want to overuse buzzwords, but this master resume is going to allow you to kind of pick and choose as you review a job description before applying at a specific position. You can cut and paste, you can go ahead and put it together, but again, your master resume is going to have all the information that you need each time you go to apply for a new position. Continuing with that master resume, as I said, you want to put as much information in there as possible so that you have everything down. You want to create your summary of skills, think about different areas of expertise. You want to list all of your work experiences, your job titles, the places you've worked, dates of employment, everything that you've done there, your responsibilities and job duties, anything that you've had as far as accomplishments. List your supervisors and their contact information. You're not going to be giving this out, but just in case you need some reference information when you go for an interview. And then you want to list, past and present volunteer activities that are fairly related to what your industry is looking like. And finally, to create that master resume, list all of your education, degrees, certification, training, list all of your proficiency, hard skills and industry-specific skills, and your knowledge. Any activities or awards from a professional or academic standpoint, any associations that you belong to if they're relevant to that position or industry. You're going to want to put together a cover letter when you are either sending your resume in, when you are maybe giving it to somebody, when you are applying online. And those are traditional cover letters, which are standard, and then there's a T-letter cover letter that we'll review. The first one is your traditional or standard cover letter. This is going to have your name and contact information at the top. That should be very similar to how it looks on your resume. Again, we're talking, this is your brand. You're going to want to have the correct salutation, commenting as far as your writing in response to a specific position, and why you think that you would be the best fit for that role. There's also what we call a T-shaped cover letter. The red line kind of indicates that T-shape. You won't have that red line on yours, but this is going to be listing what their needs are according to the job description, and then followed by what your qualifications are and how you meet those needs. It kind of gives them that straight eye line to what they're looking for and how you can fit what it is that they're expecting from someone. Now, addressing your cover letter, again, use the same heading as your resume. This is your brand. I cannot stress that enough. When possible, find out who the hiring manager is and address them professionally. Do not do to whom it may concern. Certainly want to make sure that you reference the position in which you are applying for. Now, mention the person who referred you to the position if applicable, of course with their permission. Show that you've researched the company. Compare your skills to the skills that are listed in the job posting. Explain how you will be an asset to that company. Advise how you can be contacted, and make sure your cover letter sounds enthusiastic. Now, you're going to want to create a list of references. Again, this list of references is going to be provided during the interview process, or maybe once you have applied or submitted your resume, they come back and ask you for that. You would never typically present this to anybody when you're applying for a job, but you want to include 3 professional references. Okay, you want to include personal references in addition to your professional. You want to make sure that you get the person's permission before listing them or giving out their contact information. List your references' names and titles along with the company name and address. You can provide a contact phone number and an email address, and advise your references whom you're interviewing with and when. It's okay to coach your references. When possible, obtain reference letters each time you leave a company. Reference letters should provide a description of the writer's relationship to you and your background, skills, and accomplishments. Or you can offer to write a draft of the reference letter for the person you're requesting the letter. LinkedIn can be used as another source for posting reference comments and endorsements. Now, you should be putting together what we call a career portfolio. It's kind of a binder or a presentation folder that's going to include copies of your resume, samples of your work, letters of recommendation. You can include copies of certificates of awards that you've received. You can include a list of conferences, seminars, workshops, maybe some publications that you've done. You can include transcripts, degrees, licenses, and certifications. Business cards, they are good to have, especially if you're going to networking conferences. If you're going to be speaking at one, you don't want to take your full resume, but you want to have a way that somebody can contact you. So the card should be simple and in good taste. It should list your first, last name, and contact information. It may include your job title or maybe the type of work that you're looking for. Include 2 to 3 keywords to identify yourself. Microsoft Publisher, Word, or even Vistaprint always has some good outlines that you can get from. And our Career Center actually has cardstock. So if you want to come into the Career Center, work with a career instructor, we can put together a business card for you, get that printed out, and you're on your way. Now, networking. There are several different areas in networking. There's the traditional, there's resumes and business cards, your social and professional networking sites like LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. LinkedIn is a very popular social networking site. And as I said at the beginning of our seminar here, we've got a multitude of other PowerPoint presentations that you can search for on our website. And we have one specifically for LinkedIn and how you can set up your profile and you can gain the benefits of what LinkedIn has to offer during your job search. So that's something that you may want to look at. But at any rate, LinkedIn, again, provides you the opportunity to connect with people, whether it's coworkers, past coworkers, friends, colleagues. It allows you to be able to search for job openings, research companies, etc. So that's a very popular networking tool that you will want to use during your job search. The reason that we suggest LinkedIn is because you really can optimize your profile here. You can put your photo up, which of course would want to be a professional looking one. You can put in your headline, whether you're open to opportunities or what your current title is. This is an area where you can put keywords in of what your background is, and recruiters and HR managers are able to seamlessly search within LinkedIn for individuals such as yourself with regards to positions that they have open. And finally, visibility. Being visible on LinkedIn is very key to your job search, so that people know that you're looking, but they can have a quick perusal of your background. And as I say in the LinkedIn seminar that we're doing as well, your resume and your LinkedIn profile really should mimic the same. You're spending your time putting pen to paper into putting together such a great resume. Copy and paste that into LinkedIn. This way you're not, looking at wasting a lot of time, but you're being able to get your information out there in a quick amount of time. There are a few LinkedIn profile mistakes that I want to cover with you just really quickly. One mistake is that you're not connected to recruiters, or you're barely connected to anyone else out there. You want to get on LinkedIn. You want to connect with as many people as you can. You want to make sure that, you don't have mistake number 2, meaning you don't have a profile photo, or it's a blurry one from 10 years ago, or it's a personal one with your dog or your cat or your kids. You want to make sure you have a standout headline that does not contain typos. You don't want it to be boring or generic. You want to make sure, again, that your profile does not lack the right keywords. You want those keywords that are associated with your career, industry, position that you're looking to do. And then finally, the 5th biggest mistake is that your profile isn't public, or you're not even on LinkedIn at all yet. Make sure that you do get onto LinkedIn, during your job search at some point. So now we'll cover job applications. All right. We want to make sure that you are fully prepared. You want to make sure you have your resume, your social security card, your driver's license, your passport. Make sure that you arrive, if you're going in person and you have to fill out a job application within a corporate office, that you have all of this information with you. Make sure you read and follow the instructions carefully. Don't leave any blanks. Any blanks that you're not quite sure, or any questions, I should say, that you're not quite sure about, put NA, which is not applicable. This way they know that you did see it, you did comment on it, even though it's not anything that you, or any information that you have currently, but that you did see it. Always answer your questions truthfully. Remember, this is a legal document. A job application you sign at the end, meaning everything that you put on there is true to your word, okay? Again, it's a legal document. When possible, don't indicate a specific salary requirement. You can use the salary range, you can use the word open, but you don't want to go too high and somebody sees that and says, okay, we can't afford that, and your information gets tossed to the side. Just put open, negotiable, something like that. And then when you're filling that job application out, do not ever write "see attached resume" in the employment section. Fill everything out. Yes, you may have to write the same thing that you have on your resume onto that job application, but again, you want to make sure all the information is there. So in the event that maybe your application and your resume gets divided up, HR manager has your application, the hiring manager has your resume. Now, when the HR manager looks at it and says, oh, see attached resume, she's got to track it down, or he has to track it down. Don't do that. Just make sure you get it filled out in its entirety. So pre-interview questions. A lot of times, you might get this from an HR manager. You fill out an application, they email you some pre-interview questions just so that it kind of streamlines their search. So again, you might get some recruiting related questions. How did you hear about this position? They may want to ask what your strengths and weaknesses are. You might, not have to worry about discussing that in the interview, or that's just something that they don't want to touch on, but they want to make sure they have that information. Motivation and frustration. They're looking to see if you fit in the company's culture and the managerial style. They may ask you some test questions related to the type of position. If you're going in for an engineer position, they might want to ask you some engineering questions. So again, these are some things that you might see even prior to getting a phone call from them, or prior to a telephone interview, or going in for a face-to-face. The one thing you want to make sure that you do is proofread your responses. You don't want to have any typos or grammatical errors, sorry about that. And be sure the information you submit matches your resume and job application. Again, you're having your information out there, whether it's on a job application, whether it's on a resume, or even on your LinkedIn profile. You want to make sure that all matches. You don't want to have certain information in certain areas, and all of a sudden you've got this person, they're looking at all three areas going, okay, wait a minute. Why did this person say he was employed here, but he doesn't have it listed here and here? What are they trying to hide? What are they not wanting us to see? So again, make sure before you submit anything that your resume, your job application, and if you have a LinkedIn profile, the LinkedIn profile also matches. So background checks and drug tests. Typically, this is not done until an offer of employment has been extended and sometimes even accepted. But again, this is going to be done by the company. They're wanting to look to verify your name, address, and phone number. They are going to want to verify what you said that your employment dates and titles and companies were is true to your word. If you attended school and you said you got your master's, but you attended and you never even graduated, again, they want to find this out. Criminal background history, they do need to abide by the Fair Credit Reporting laws. Those are forever changing, so I don't want to talk too much about that there. But again, this is what they're looking for. And then your driver's license history. They want to see, do you have a driver's license? Is it valid? Is it not suspended? Say you're going to be in a appraisal role and you are utilizing one of their cars as your company car, and they have to insure you. They want to make sure you have a valid driver's license. And then the pre-employment drug test. Again, all of this information needs to be done and handled before you can start. So you should fully expect that you have to do some form of a physical maybe and drug test prior to employment. So job boards, company websites, where you can search for positions out there. The best sites are going to be your Monster, your Career Builder, Craigslist, Indeed.com, and OhioMeansJobs.com are also some great areas, and then company websites. Now, jobs aren't always posted, in every section. So say you went to Monster and you were only using Monster and you expected to be able to pull up a job that, maybe was listed on Career Builder. That's not always going to be the case. I know it's time consuming, but you want to always search multiple web pages, websites to make sure that you are really finding all of those jobs out there. So let's cover recruiters, staffing firms, and resume posting services. Back in the day, you could go to a recruiter because you were out of work. You could get in touch with one. They would go out and actively market your background. They would find a position for you, and then you would pay them for doing that. That is no longer. So if somebody contacts you and they want to be the person to market your background, please know you are not to compensate them. Companies are now paying the recruiters to fill their positions. They do that from a contingency standpoint, where a company pays nothing unless they hire somebody from a specific recruiter, or a retained standpoint where they actually put money up front to work with a specific recruiter to fill a position. So again, please keep in mind that you, as an individual looking for a job, are never to compensate a recruiter or even a staffing agency for them getting you a job. Now, staffing agencies can do that both temporary or permanent wise. And again, same as recruiters, they are paid for by the company in which they are placing you. Now, resume posting services. There's a lot out there. They do come, with a price. Resume Rabbit, you can put your resume on there and it'll go to over 75 career sites. Things like Mailman, Resume Zapper, that'll blast your resume to thousands of employers and recruiters. Indeed.com is one where You can look for positions. Companies can also look for individuals on there. So you can post your resume there. Same with Monster, same with Career Builder. So again, try to limit the amount of money that you're doing this for. You want to make sure that you have a good resume, but a free resume. And that's something that here at the Ohio Means Jobs Geauga County Career Center, our career instructors can help you put together a resume for free. So please remember that. Now, alumni groups. This is another great resource for finding job postings. You can look for associations, something like the Chamber of Commerce, military associations, company alumni associations, even high school, college, and then looking at professional and industry associations. So again, there's so many different areas that you can research to find jobs out there during your job search. Now, interview preparation. Again, as I said at the beginning, we've got a multitude of PowerPoint presentations that kind of break down things individually. Interviewing preparation is one of those as well, but we'll do kind of a brief outline here today. You want to use your resume to prepare yourself for the interview. You want to try and memorize 3 things you liked best about the job that you were doing, 3 things that you accomplished or contributed to in that position, and 3 things that you were maybe best known for in that position. You can use your past evaluations, which are really a great resource. But again, anytime that you prepare for an interview, you want to sit down, try to put pen to paper, write these things down. It states that it kind of sticks in your short-term memory if you are actually writing something down. So it helps you remember that when you're sitting there in front of the person that's interviewing you. So interviewing dues, you want to definitely have them at hello. So be on time. 10 to 15 minutes early is on time. Some people abide by this, some people don't, but try to make sure that you are early so that you can get there. You want to make sure that you dress appropriately for that industry. You want to smile, offer a firm handshake, and make eye contact. During the course of the interview, make sure that you have questions in your mind that you want to ask. Ask about the company, ask about the position, maybe who was in the position previous, why is it open, what is the expectation of somebody coming on board, what is the direction the company is taking, things like that. Always ask for a business card from each person that you interview with, because this is going to be important to send them a thank you note or a letter after the interview. So let's cover some interviewing don'ts. First, let's remember you never get a second chance to make a good first impression. Some things that you don't want to do is chew gum or smell like smoke. Don't wear heavy perfumes or heavy colognes. Try not to slouch or fidget in your seat. Have good posture. Don't use words like fired or let go or even terminated. You want to take a look in our interviewing PowerPoint that we put together. Gives you some ideas here as far as how to answer those types of questions. We also have another PowerPoint that we have put together that talks about how to answer tough interview questions. So you might want to take a look at that. Anyways, continuing, you don't want to talk about personal issues, and you don't want to make negative comments about previous employers or coworkers. If you happen to be interviewing in the same industry that you've been in for the last maybe 5, 10, 15 years, you'll know or you'll realize that people jump from place to place, and you may make a negative comment about a certain person that you don't know that the person that's interviewing you just hired yesterday. So then that just kind of puts you off, from them wanting to hire you. So again, make sure that you don't make any negative comments. So as we continue, I do want to say that if you are not sure kind of where to start, to visit the Ohio Means Jobs Geauga County Career Center and speak with one of the career instructors to help you get your job search put together. We can help you with your resume, cover letter, thank you letters. We can help you do some mock interviews. We're certainly available to provide assistance with regards to any of your job searching needs. So in conclusion, the interview, whether it be a phone, in person, or virtual, one is going to be the most important part of your job search. Being as prepared as possible will help you feel more confident and less nervous during the process. And remember, although you may not be invited back or receive an offer of employment, each interview you go on is a learning tool for the next interview. So don't get discouraged. Your time will come. The Ohio Means Jobs Geauga County Career Center is available to provide further assistance with interviewing, as well as any of the other services such as resume writing, your LinkedIn profile, computer assistance, etc. We've got a number of ways that you can reach a career instructor, either via phone, via email, or we now have a virtually connect with career instructor located on our website, where you have the ability to connect one-on-one and discuss your needs, schedule an appointment, whether it's going to be virtually or within our Career Center. We are open by appointment only between 8 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. Please keep in mind our career instructors are not available between noon and 1, as they will be gone for their lunch hour. Again, I do appreciate your time today. I hope you have learned a little bit more, and certainly we wish you a great success in your job search and obtaining further employment. Thank you.